good morning, good afternoon, however it is that you may be listening, watching, anything like that. Hope you guys had a great Saturday. Hope you guys have an even better Sunday. Hope we have all better days than good old CMC. Alrighty. It's another episode of the Sports Euphoria podcast. I'm going to be previewing week three's games and recapping the uneventful Thursday night game in regards to scoring. Um, but yeah, um, it's just going to be me tonight again. Just wanted to get out the episode for you guys, trying to still work some things out with co-host, but I'm going to possibly be having some other people coming on to see what we can do. Like I said, a quick recap if you're just listening to this episode. Sports Euphoria is basically a full service podcast sports esports thing where I'm going to talk a lot about sports in general, whatever the case may be, like the Yankees winning and Giancarlo hitting a grand slam for the Yankees with the Red Sox to keep just moving up and keeping pace in the second wildcard spot. These are going to be things that I'm going to be talking about on the show, on the podcast. More sports talk might be actual just live shows, maybe not a podcast episode. We're going to see what's going on. We're going to roll it. We're going to have fun with it. And I want you guys here along for the ride. If you see or hear anything in the background, those are just the cats. Don't mind them. There's three. But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit of things if you're watching or going to be watching on YouTube when this episode goes up. Kind of how everything goes. I want you guys to kind of see what it is that I'm looking at and how it is, what it is I'm seeing, what it is I'm everything like that. We all have access to a lot of the same information, but I want you guys to see what it is I'm doing and where it is I'm pulling my stuff from. I pull a lot of my stuff from CBS, like I had said previously last episode, because that's just what I believe in. I like them. I like their information. There's a lot of outlets to get information. By no means am I, Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg, Heath Cummings. I'm not Matthew Berry. I'm not Phil Yates. Not, those people on ESPN. I don't try to be. I am myself. I'm giving you guys what I see, what I like, what I think. I don't have people doing research for me, so we're just going in this baby raw. Anyway, all right. So with that being said, things I'm going to be doing going forward on week preview episodes. Typically going to be recapping the Thursday game and previewing the Thursday game on my waiver wire episodes or on the waiver wire episodes. But typically what's going to happen is I'm going to have spreadsheets and going to share them with people that I'm going to be working with, co-hosting with, whatever the case may be. But essentially, if I want to have any notes or certain players I want to discuss, I'm going to bring that up on the spreadsheet. I'm going to go over the games, 1 o'clock order. The Thursday game, the 1 o'clock games, 4:05, 4:25, Sunday night, and Monday night. That's how I'm kind of going to do it. It's just me talking tonight, so I'm going to be taking some drinks of water. But that's kind of what we're going to do. But that's kind of what I see. And then I'm also we're going to be dabbling with bets, and we're going to be keeping track of our bets. We're going to be using Barstool Sportsbook is what we're going to be using. So that's where we're going to get our spreads from. That's where we're going to get our over-unders from. That's where we're going to get our money lines from. But for this week, we're just doing spreads and over-unders. I have my picks. I have another buddy of mine, Zub. He's a betting guru friend of mine. That's his nickname. But we're just going to, see what it is that we can do. With bets, we're going to keep track of them. We're going to, take our performance on a week-by-week basis. And I want to show this because I want this to be proof that nothing has changed, that we haven't gone in and changed anything. So this way, if you want to go back to an episode and compare our picks, you can see that it will be live on YouTube, not live on, well, we are live on YouTube right now, but it will be live. So you can go back. It's going to be recorded, documented, so we're not going to have to worry about it. Everything's labeled on the bottom and the sheets and all that good stuff. We're going to touch those towards the end of the podcast, kind of give our bets, end it off, see what happens. Maybe we'll dabble with some fake money or whatever the case may be, kind of keep track of how we do. Some of my favorite picks, I am going to be playing IRL, as some may say, or in real life. My my buddy Zub had gotten some teasers, gave us some teasers. So we're gonna be, dabbling into it, and I'm gonna have, since my buddy's more of the gambling aficionado, a couple of my friends, I'm gonna have them come on at some point and explain kind of what goes into things, how they make their bets, explain things. If you have questions, if you want to ask a question about how a bet works, how a teaser works, how the money line works, how the spreads work, but different things like that, with the shaving points, all that good stuff. But those are going to be towards the end of the episodes. So with that being said, I want to jump into very quickly the recap of the Thursday night game. We all probably saw it or heard about it by now. CMC, good old Christian McCaffrey, the Carolina McCaffreys, he got hurt. He was ruled out very quickly. It was a hamstring injury. He had a shoulder issue last year, I believe, kept him out for a long time. Wasn't himself. He is the best player in fantasy football, based on production and what he can do. There's not much he can't do. He was running. It appeared to be what looked like a stutter step kind of thing. If you play Madden, it's a dead leg, they're calling it. But he was really kind of just, he finished the run out, which was nice. But, you could tell he hurt something because all of a sudden it kind of just went like limp. So if you have Chuba Hubbard, highly recommend picking him up. If you don't, but you want to take a flyer, you could pick up Freeman. I think Hubbard is definitely the guy to go. So that's something to look out for. If the Christian McCaffrey owner does not already have Hubbard, I don't know why. You should. I have Hubbard in one of my leagues, and I do not have Christian McCaffrey. I picked up Hubbard just on the simple fact of what if, because you never know. It's a rough game. They always go hard, 110%. Things happen. So I have Hubbard. I think that's the way to go with Hubbard. I also want to piggyback off that in talking to some people outside is does this mean for Sam Darnold's stock? Sam has been he's performed very well. He did have a rushing touchdown. The first one was with Christian in the game. And then they did a tight end sweep for Tremble, and he scored a touchdown. Tremble. Didn't see that one coming. But it happens. They play to win the game the right way, and we're just hoping we pick the right guys to get points and win us games and possibly win you money if you're in leagues or bragging rights or whatever the case is, or to not have to do something stupid for finishing in last place. So Chris McCaffrey is out. We don't know how long. It looks like a 2-week period, 2 to 3 week window. Possibly, but I think that's going to be dependent on how they play. If they continue to play well and win the next 2 games and go 5-0, or maybe go 2-1, or they're close games, you could tell it wasn't a McCaffrey issue. They were still putting the ball down the field. Their defense was just on the field last. The other team scored, that kind of thing. The defense is going to take a hit, losing a rookie cornerback, J.C. Horn, who broke his foot on a non-contact injury. It's going to be 2 to 3 months of recovery time from that. Very freaky injury. When I saw the replay, I thought maybe it was an Achilles because he didn't go to his knee right away. He went to his foot. He pointed to his foot. He was laying on his back and he landed on his bum. So that could affect the defense a little bit. He's a very good cornerback, a very good rookie cornerback they've gotten a lot of production out of the past 3 games. 2.5. So that could affect their defense a little bit, because it's the next man up. So some of those second receivers or third receivers on other teams might be a look at for DFS or streamers, whatever, depending on the situation. Because those non-starting cornerbacks are going to have to step up now. I spelled Robbie wrong. I just realized that. It's with a Y. Anyway, DJ Moore's a stud. Sam Darnold loves him. Everything about him. And used to Terrence Marshall a little bit as well. But he really does like DJ Moore. Now, there was a pass. I'm a Robbie Anderson owner, so it is a little biased. There's a pass that Sam had thrown that went to DJ Moore, and he could not catch it. Me being biased and wanting to get points, if that was thrown to Robbie, who's a little bit taller, a little bit longer, a little bit quicker, he catches it. It's a touchdown because DJ had a step. But it was a really good game for DJ. Good targets, good yards, good receptions. It seemed like every time he threw the ball, it was just going to DJ Moore. Didn't look Robbie Anderson's way. I think he had 3 targets. One of them was a penalty. So they took that away. 2 targets, 1 drop, and the other one was an 8-yard catch. So for me, starting him, 1.8 points. Woohoo! But yeah, that was not fun at all. That wasn't fun by any stretch of the imagination. Had Christian Kirk, thought about starting him as well. Ended up going Robbie Anderson. Liked the matchup. Thought Robbie would do well. Again, rapport with Sam Darnold. Went to Temple. Matt Rule. Temple relationship. There's connections there. You'd think. 1,000-yard receiver last year. 1,000-yard receiver. 700-something yards one year. 900-something the next. Or another year. And then 1,000 last year with like 8 touchdowns. It's like, oh, this is fantastic. You just had like 900 yards with Sam Darnold. Now you're getting him back. And the coach likes you. And you have rapport. Fantastic. Why wouldn't you do well? Oh, I'm sorry. He has 5 catches in 3 games. The hell's this? Anyway. That's really it from the Carolina standpoint. Pay attention to Sam Darnold with no McCaffrey. I want to see how he does and continues to go forward without one of the best running backs in football that can do it all. Utility knife, utility, whatever you want to call it, utility player, like in baseball. He just does it all. Blocks, runs, catches, whatever you need him to do, he'll do. I want to see what happens when you don't have that safety net. What happens when you have somebody who may not be the best at picking up, a blitz? How's Sam going to look? So if you have Sam and he did well, he did have the 2 rushing touchdowns, threw for a nice, chunk of change. Just keep an eye out on him. If you need a quarterback, you can take a flyer, depending on your quarterback situation. But if you can start somebody else, by all means, please do, to see how it goes. And don't be surprised if you have Hubbard or want to pick him up. Like I had said earlier, if the Panthers do end up going 2-1 in the next 3 games, or 3-0 or 2-0, they're not going to rush McCaffrey back because they're going to feel good in regards to trying to make a playoff push. And if I'm the Panthers, I'd rather have Christian McCaffrey for the playoffs, for that push, than having him back to try to get to that push. So you really want to weigh out some options there. If you're Matt Rule, then you make the smart decision. And if you're playing well, you hold him back. 17-game season now. Keep that in mind. So real quick as well, what I want to touch on is, I could have sworn I just had this up. Brandon Cooks, just doing Brandon Cooks things. He's really the only option there. They have a bunch of running backs with Ingram and Johnson and Lindsey. Don't expect much out of the receivers except for Brandon Cooks. He's going to be targeted a lot. He can get open. It reminds me very much of that Odell Beckham with the Giants. He's just somebody who's going to be able to get open very quickly. His average depth per pass, yards in the air, I think they call it ADOP now. I don't even know. But the yards, it's not going to be what it used to be. He used to be a streaky player. He's going to be more consistent. He's going to be, be reading more coverages. He's going to be more slants, more quick passes. He has the ability to take those to the house. But it's probably going to be a little bit more infrequent, but he's going to get you the catches. So full point PPR, I think you just start Brandon Cooks. And Davis Mills is not a bad quarterback. There's no fantasy relevance with Mills yet, but he showed with time he threw the ball very well. He threw it outside the numbers very well. Those outside routes to the sidelines, he did have some nice zip on the ball. He can make those throws. He's just very raw. Nobody knows what to expect of him yet. But, they could have opened it up more and let him loose. And I think they kind of stopped a little bit to protect him. But every situation is different. Houston's offensive line a little better than the Jets with Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of see the game, feel the game, see what's going on. Don't believe in all these analytics. Just see how it's going. Go with the flow, the game flow, right? That's what everybody else does. Running back's hot, keep giving it to them. They don't stop. Just give it to the hot back. Mills is slinging it around the yard. Let Mills keep slinging it around the yard. You weren't expecting to win the game going into it, and he gave you the best chance for right now. Poor Tyrod Taylor, though, it is what it is. You're not starting any running backs for Houston. I don't see it. You're not the only person I see relevant. We're starting on a weekly basis is Brandon Cooks in full point PPR. You can start him in non PPR as well. If you have other options, I would do that. He's going to get his yards. I just don't know how many touchdowns he's going to get. That's what scares me. They have a variety of running backs that can score as they get closer to the red zone, especially with Ingram. So I don't know how much Cooks is going to be utilized in there. He's probably going to be utilized more from the 15 yards back, or 10 yards and back, where he can create some distance, make some quick moves, and get some space. But yeah, it was a good game by the Panthers. They're 3-0. But that's how I feel about those players. Carolina's defense, you can still probably play them a little bit. They're going to do well. They're going to get some pressure. Just don't be disappointed if they get beat a couple times because there's no JC Horn. Keep that in mind. Whew, man, I need help. All right. So, first game on the docket that I'm going to preview because a little biased, but we're going to do it anyway. Get it out of the way. Giants game. Giants-Falcons. Lot of different things to think about here from the Giants side. So let's go with the Falcons first. Kyle Pitts. You start Kyle Pitts. Mike Davis, if you're desperate, I have Mike Davis on my team. We went 0 running backs. In one of my leagues, we went Travis Kelce, Keenan Allen. Oh, God. That's so many goddamn teams. I forgot who we went. Jeez, look at me. But we went Kelce and 2 receivers. We also have Justin Herbert. So, we really kind of just really took a shot. We have Miles Sanders and Mike Davis as our running backs. Robbie Anderson is a flex. So you start Kyle Pitts, Mike Davis if you have to. I have to. I'm starting Mike Davis. He's been getting more targets and he's shown he can catch the ball, which is going to be good. Don't know what Patterson is going to do. If you need somebody for that flex position, because depending on injuries, whatever the case may be, don't be disappointed if you start him. I don't see another big game out of him like I did last week. I think it was very game dependent, game flow. The touchdown, the run things, they're just making the Giants have to, what's he doing? Where's he going to be? How's he going to be utilized? Kind of thing. And Calvin Ridley. And Calvin Ridley's another must start. James Bradbury is like a shell of himself right now. I don't know if he's trying to find his way home. I'm not really sure what's going on. But James Bradbury has not been performing how he was last year. It's disappointing to see as a Giants fan, but I do like Ridley's route running is very, very good, and Matt Ryan knows how to find him. He's no Julio Jones, but he's going to get you some points. So your 2 definite starts for me, depending on your tight end situation. If you don't have one of the top tight ends, obviously you're going to be starting Kyle Pitts. I have him in a couple leagues. I really like him. I have him in my Dynasty League as well, which I was very, very happy about. He's just the second option there. There's no other pass catchers. He's a freak. Not much of a blocker. He's like an Evan Ingram type, but he can actually catch the ball and not get hurt. So now I want to go to the Giants because this is interesting. This is the breakout game for Saquon's quote unquote. I feel bad for a lot of running backs coming off of this ACL, MCL, PCL, all these different surgeries and knee surgeries, reconstruction, new construction, all these different things. Because Adrian Peterson set the bar a couple years back when he almost broke the rushing record and he was an MVP. It takes some time. Giants had 10 days rest. So if this is the game that Saquon's going to come back, he's going to come back and be him this game. The team for Atlanta is not good. Their defense is atrocious. He had some nice spurts, runs against Washington. You tell his speed's not all the way there because Chase Young did catch up to him. I think I referenced that at some point last episode. But this is the game I think he does something. Now, Atlanta is so bad, the Giants have a lot of different options. Evan Ingram comes back. This could be his little breakout game. I don't think so because Kenny Galladay was yelling at Jason Garrett, allegedly. Still think he was yelling at Daniel Jones, and Jason Garrett's just like, hey, blame it on me, man. I don't want any, this getting out. Don't be surprised if at the end of the season or if they end up doing really even worse that it comes out that Galladay was really yelling at Jones. You start Sterling Shepard. You start Kenny Galladay. And you start Saquon Barkley. Evan Ingram, if you needed that tight end. If you don't have, if you... I don't want to say you're not going to start Gronk. I'll touch that in a second. But start Evan Ingram if you need a tight end. Also, you're starting good old DJ Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. He has been playing a lot better than what people think. Just as easily, I said it today, the Giants could just as easily be 2-0 as they are 0-2. The Broncos' second half possession was 9.5 minutes. The defense was on the field for 9.5 minutes in game time, at least a half hour of real time. And they were on halftime before that. So they had a break, but the offense was off the field for like an hour in week 1. An actual hour. That's a long fucking time. Daniel Jones, then they get the ball back. The Giants in the third quarter. Giants are driving. They look good. Jones fumbles. When it comes down, they get points. You start forcing a bunch of things. You're pressing a little bit more. They know you have to pass. They could drop more people into coverage. Okay, see where I'm going with this? Again, maybe the defense gets off the field quicker. It's not a 9.5 minute drive. Defense stays fresh longer. What if? What if number 2? Daniel Jones doesn't fumble the football. Giants keep driving, score a touchdown. What was it? 17-10 at that point. Maybe it's 14. Giants have 14 points or 17. Whatever the case may be. Giants score a touchdown. I think it would have been like 24-17. I think. Okay, so that doesn't happen, right? Or it would have been 24-7. It's neither here nor there. Obviously, they just can't stop anything. They fumble. Defense is back on the field after they were just on the field for 9.5 minutes game time, probably half hour real time. They're tired. Boom. Week 2, Jason Garrett, afraid to take risks after the Bradbury interception. Bradbury got burnt all game. Does one thing for you. That's how you repay him? Run, pass. Run, pass. Run. What is it? 3rd and 8. 7-yard pattern for Shepard. Tackled 4th and 1. Kicked the field goal. Now you're up by 2. Washington just has to kick a field goal to win. They win. After they missed the first one. Jason Garrett shows trust in Daniel Jones, who, I don't know, was running all over Washington. Score 7. You're not by 2 anymore. Or you get 6, okay? So by 4. You're by 5. Washington's got to score a touchdown. Put the pressure on the guy that only has 3 career starts. See what happens. He just threw the ball. Just turned it over. Pressing a little bit more. Gibson didn't have the greatest game. McKissick had the big play, but that's... $2-0. Just as easily as they're 0-2. Think about it for a second. Jones has no interceptions. 1 untimely fumble. Gotten sacked, gotten rocked, gotten... No fumbles. Just 1 untimely fumble. 1, It happens. Turn the ball over like 48 times in 2 seasons. People notice things. But he has thrown the ball well. He's been making better reads. The line's been playing a lot better. So that's, as I digress and talk about that instead of, fantasy, but just had to get that off my chest. So you're starting Danny Dimes, starting Saquon, you're starting Sterling Shep, and if you need to start Galladay, you start Galladay. I think he's going to end up having a big game because of what just happened. It's usually how it happens. You yell a little bit, they might not look at you all the time, but they're going to look at you in the red zone because it's really what you care about. But he has over 100 yards in 2 games. It's not like he's not doing anything bad. It's just Sterling Shepard has like 209. But yeah, so those are the guys you start. All right. Ridley, Pitts, Davis if you need to. No Matt Ryan. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, maybe Galladay. Got it? Get it? Got it good. Washington and Buffalo. All right. Let me pull up some stuff here for everybody. So, we have Washington and Buffalo. Hold on a second. Like trying to make trades right now. He might even be watching me. Buddy of mine, I don't know if he's going to be watching, might be listening to this later, so he'll get a kick out of it. The guy Zub who gave me his picks. We're in the Dynasty League together. He asked me what I wanted for Cortland Sutton. I told him, I'll give you Cortland Sutton, Chase Edmonds, or David Montgomery. He needs a little bit of a receiver, so ended up telling me he doesn't love Edmonds that much. And I get it. The Cardinals sling the ball around a lot, and he's wishy-washy, but he gets some nice points in PPRs and stuff like that. Anyway, Washington, Buffalo. This game, Josh Allen. Josh Allen does Josh Allen things. Say three touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns. But it depends on Washington's defensive line might show up. But I still think Josh Allen is going to end up slinging the ball around a lot. Bills' defense is good. They took advantage of the Dolphins last week. But you're going to start Josh Allen just because the upside. The guy, he's not going to duplicate the same thing he did last year at the rate, but he'll have his games. He's going to have his games where he goes off. So you can't not. His rushing ability, yards, his arm strength, one play, and he scores. He can get it in the end zone. I like Singletary. He has shown that he's been the guy. Zach Moss hasn't got many touches, so you're just going to keep going with Singletary. I like Singletary if you start him. Don't like him against the defensive, front, but he's more healthy than Barkley, so you never know. But you're definitely starting Allen. You need to start Singletary. You start Singletary. And Diggs. It's really it for Buffalo. Nothing too crazy. And Washington, if you're in a 2-quarterback super flex, you could maybe start Heineke if you're desperate. But other than that, you're really just going to start Gibson and Thomas and McLaurin. Thomas is, he's going to be consistent. Those are who their targets are. McKissick was misleading last week at a 56-yard touchdown. So I think that was a little bit, inflated the numbers a little bit for him. But yeah, I definitely think Washington is good. Heineke's a serviceable quarterback. I think given the right opportunities and enough repetitions, he'll show you he can stay in the league. He'll be good. Definitely be good. Josh Allen's Josh Allen. So you're going to go Allen, Singletary, Stephon Diggs. Sanders maybe in deeper leagues, PPR only, because he's Sanders. And you could go Cole Beasley too, but I definitely think you want Sanders over Beasley. And then Logan Thomas, Terry McLaurin, and Antonio Gibson. Let me see if he... Alrighty. That was Washington and Buffalo. Now I'm sorting through them. I just had to get my Giant stuff off my chest. I was, holding that in for a while. What do we got? We got the Bears and the Browns. I don't even know if I want to talk about this game. This is the rookie Justin Fields starting his first game. You got a bad quarterback? Screw it. Take a risk. What's the worst that happens? He falls flat on his face? Have you seen Zach Wilson? Sorry, Jets fans. I apologize. Browns defense is good. They're a running team, and Odell comes back this week. Start Baker if you have to. I'm not a big Baker fan because, again, they're a run-first defense. offense. Oh my God, Chubb and Hunt. I'm like calling him Hubbard, but it's Hunt and Chubb and Jesus. It's late. It's like 10:30. I want to get an episode out for you guys, so it's a little half-assed, but I'm still giving 110%. So then I take that back. I'm a hypocrite. Love you guys. Anyway, you're starting Nick Chubb. You're starting Kareem Hunt. They're going to run the ball. Chubb in all formats. I think Hunt in just standard. Not so much PPR. Landry's hurt. Odell comes back. Odell was not on the injury report after practice this week. At the end of the week. He's a full go. If you're desperate. Only if you're desperate. Are you going to start him? Coming back off the surgery, all that good stuff. You don't know how he's going to do with his cuts, how he's going to feel. Yes, he's a freak of nature. You want to see the one-handed catches. Everybody does. I get it. I'm a Giants fan. Worst thing that ever happened to him was him catching those balls. Anyway, again, I don't think you have to. The only people I'm starting, and the only person I'm really starting for Cleveland, 100% of the leagues, is Chubb. Kareem Hunt standard. Definitely Kareem Hunt standard. And Odell, if you're desperate. If you have no other receivers and you took him thinking maybe he'd come back sooner, whatever the case may be, then go that route. You know, he has the ability to just take it to the house, but they've had more success when they don't feed him the ball, though they don't force him the ball. Don't deviate from your game plan that has made you successful, that has made you relevant, that has made you a scary team to play come the colder months. Run the ball down their throats. It works. Who cares what Odell says? Run the ball. You're only starting Chubb. Odell, desperate, and Hunt, and Standard. Anyway. Oh, you could probably actually start Hunt in PPR. I do take that back. He did have 4 catches. But they're going to run the ball. They might check it down here or there, but those are my picks, and that's what I'm sticking with. Yeah, I don't know. The Bears, Justin Fields, 2-quarterback league maybe. I don't think you're starting Justin Fields over Daniel Jones. I don't think you're starting Justin Fields over Josh Allen. Obviously, you're not starting him. You start him over. I'd start him over Baker. I'm gonna be honest. I'd start him over Baker if you have Baker as your starting quarterback. For sure. Excuse me. Mooney can end up having, see, I don't even know if Mooney can have a big game. It's just so hard because you don't know if they call the game around Fields and Montgomery with running and RPOs. You're definitely starting Montgomery. I like Montgomery. And you're starting Fields depending on your quarterback situation. Like I said, you're starting over Baker. You're starting him over Goff. If you have Goff, you're starting him. You could start him over Winston if you have Winston. Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah. I don't know if you start him over Teddy. Kirk Cousins, maybe Jimmy G, like I said, depending on your quarterback situation. But I really only like Montgomery, and I really maybe only like Allen Robinson, but I only want to start Montgomery. If definitely must start Montgomery. That's it. Just going to start Montgomery. Like I said, depending on your roster, Allen Robinson had 8 catches on 15 targets. Darnell Mooney had 11 catches on 15 targets. So those are types of guys, but a lot of it, there were only 8 completions for Fields. Everything else was Dalton. So it's interesting to see what's going on. Robinson can just catch about anything. So I think Robinson will have a bigger impact and a better game. For Fields, he's at comfort. He's going to know he can rely on Robinson. Everybody's always relied on Robinson. He made Blake Bortles look good and fantasy relevant for a little while. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't think like your Cole Kmets, your Njokus, your Hoopers, it's just equal share. I mean, you could probably start Hooper for the Browns. Again, depending on your tie situation, he had 8 catches, so he's going to get his as well. It's just how they run the offense. It's very tight end centric. The tight ends led in targets for the Browns last week. Next, we got the Ravens and the Lions. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, that should be right. Okay, I'm sorry. That was a silly moment. I had a blonde moment. I was looking at the wrong thing. I am an idiot. My apologies. Ravens Lions. Lamar Jackson, Tyson Williams has a big game. Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews. That's it. Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown. I mean, I like when previewing games, we don't know your rosters, but I definitely you must starts are Lamar Jackson, um, Tyson Williams, Mark Andrews, Marquise Brown, Sammy Watkins as a flex if you have to. Lions, Hawkinson, Swift. That's it. That's it. Hawkinson and Swift. Because Swift's just going to get the garbage time. He has, 16 targets all year? He's going to get the garbage time. Hawkinson leads the team in targets and catches. Cephas you could start, but again, the touchdown, if I remember correctly, because I did see it, this was a primetime game, and I watched it. It was a blown coverage, misassignment, so I don't know how I can trust that too much, but anyway, see what happens. See what happens. All righty. Next, we have the Colts and the Titans. So, with the Colts and the Titans, you're starting Ryan Tannehill. Again, need be, depending on your quarterback situation. A.J. Brown. Julio is a fringe, man. Julio is a fringe in my book. He had the touchdown call back, which definitely would have helped. A.J. Brown had more catches than he's going to probably have the rest of the season. And that hurt Tannehill. But Tannehill's there, man. Tannehill's, he's going to, if he can continue to play well, but they rode the hot hand, Derrick Henry. They just fed Henry, and you're not benching Henry. So you're starting Henry. No question about it. Carson Wentz is supposed to be playing with 2 sprained ankles. How you sprain both ankles, I don't know. He must have gotten just like hit too hard or something. I don't even know. But wait, what did I? Yeah, it was weird. Anyway, Colts, Titans, Henry, A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill. Julio's Julio. You can probably go with Julio. If I have him, I thought about trading him for. He was offered to me for somebody, or somebody was offering me a couple different things. They want Antonio Gibson in my one league. I thought about Jones because he's going to get his. He's going to feel more comfortable, work on rapport. Ryan Tannehill, the season goes on. I think Jones has potential to be a receiver 1 as the season progresses. Low end 1, high end 2, for sure. Colts, Taylor's got to do something soon. He's going to. You start Taylor. You don't start Wentz. If Wentz looks good in pregame, you could get away with starting Pittman. He had a game. He's extremely talented. He can run, he can catch, and he can jump. Do not underestimate Pittman, especially with no TY. He's going to be their most consistent receiver rest of the way. A lot of talent. Wentz has to stay healthy. Pittman goes as Wentz goes. Pittman goes as Wentz goes. Remember that. Wentz looks good in pregame. I'll tweet it out depending on what's going on, how he's looking, how he's feeling, what I see. You start Pittman. You start Taylor, and you start Pittman. And Jack Doyle if you need it. Again, depending on... She's going to jump up on the thing. Yep, she just jumped up on our armoire. All righty. Colts Titans. That's where you go with that. Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, Ryan Tannehill. Colts, Jonathan Taylor, Jack Doyle if you need one. Michael Pittman. Next, we have Chargers Chiefs. Start them all. Every single one of them. Kelsey, Mahomes, Tyreek. CH. I think you should probably go CH. They back during Hardman in one of the playoff games last season. Hardman fumbled. I remember like it was yesterday, and they ended up throwing him the ball the next drive and scores a touchdown. They want to help CEH's confidence. I think they're going to give him the ball. He's going to probably get a ton of catches. Not a ton, but he's going to get some catches. But you start the usuals. You start Mahomes. You start Kelsey. You start Hill. You start CEH. Don't be surprised if Hardman has a okay game, though, again. I think Hardman could probably end up finishing with 15 points. I think Hardman gets a touchdown. Just saying. If you have better backs, Joe Mixon over CEH, Eckler, obviously, Kamara. Maybe start Najee Harris over CH. Might be starting Gaskins over CH, and that's with no Tua. So just think about it for a little bit. Miles Sanders over CEH. Like, that's kind of where I am with CEH right now. But for the Chargers, Herbert, you're starting him. Obviously, he has had 3 or 4 touchdowns, I think, called back because of penalties. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Mike Williams is a starter. Like, the fact that he's just start him. Eckler, Allen, Cook if you're tight end desperate. But I think he's just going to be touchdown dependent. So if it's a PPR, I don't know about it. If it's a standard league, you can get away with starting Cook. But yeah, Mahomes, Herbert, Eckler. Anybody on the Chargers, really, because the Chiefs' defense is deplorable. Lamar Jackson made them look better than they were last week, and Lamar Jackson ended up still winning. He's like, here, I'm going to give you some points because your defense is that bad, and we're still going to win the game. That's what Lamar did. He handicapped himself. So, yeah, just start all the usual guys for this game, please. If you don't, then there's something wrong with you. Especially Herbert, though. Like, if you have Brady, I'm almost contemplating, and I would feel comfortable with you starting Herbert over Brady this week. Just saying. Saints, Pats. Kamara. Just Kamara for the Saints. Just Kamara. Not a goddamn receiver. This, by the way, is probably the game Callaway pops off. Don't know why. Patriots, James White, Harris. I think you can start both backs, but James White PPR. And that's really it. Like, this game is rough. This game's really rough. Ain't nobody I want to start on nobody. Like, I start Hunter Henry, Jonnu. I start on tight ends. The running backs scare me because you don't never know which running backs is part of the game plan, which running back's part of the flow. What's Bill Belichick want to do this week? Maybe Myers. Maybe. Go with Aguilar. Aguilar's not bad, but they're not opening up the playbook much for Jones. So if you're going to start anybody for New England, it's going to be the backs. So Kamara and New England's backs. James White, full point PPR. Harris, standard. Bengals, Steelers. We're going to make this quick, easy, and painless. Steelers suck. Big Ben is garbage. Hot garbage. Dude, stop. You came out and said you don't want to get hit. Excuse me? You don't want to get hit? I think Deion's playing another flag football league. You want to play flag football with Deion Sanders? Bro. Ben. Leave it. You fucked them over because you didn't retire, so they didn't know who to take, so they take a running back. Very reminiscent of the Giants. Let's give him one more shot. Let's go with the running back. One more chance. He's got it. We owe it to him. Why? You're starting Harris. That's it. Leave it alone. That's on the Pittsburgh side. Bengals side. Joe Mixon. No TJ Watt is growing. TJ Watt's out. Just saw that today. Definitely like the Bengals this game. T. Higgins is doubtful. So be careful of that one. I like T. Higgins, have him on one of my teams. It's going to be a big chase game. I think it's going to be a big chase game. So you're starting. Give me Burrow if you need him. Okay. I think Burrow finishes top 15 quarterback this week. Obviously, if you're in 12 teams, you're going to have other people that are finishing better. But again, you don't know. Sometimes in one of my leagues, I have Herbert and Stafford. Like, those are 2 top 10 quarterbacks, in my opinion, this year. So, like, it depends on who's in your league. But, like, I like Burrow. I do like Burrow this week. And Mixon. Burrow, Mixon, Chase. Done deal. And Najee Harris, because they're probably going to want to try to protect Ben because, he doesn't want to get hit playing football. Cardinals, Jaguars, James Robinson, if you're desperate, absolutely desperate. Because they're not going to know what to do. I mean, you could start the receivers because Trevor Lawrence is going to have to throw it to somebody. But that's about it. Chenault's hurt. The only receiver I feel safe and comfortable with is Marvin Jones. So you got to start a receiver from Jacksonville. You're going to start Marvin Jones. You're going to start James Robinson just because maybe they receive the first half kickoff and they run the ball quick. Because after that, sorry. Murray's going to have another total 5 touchdowns. Hopefully they go to anybody but Rondell Moore. Edmonds. A lot of Edmonds. They might even use Edmonds and Connor a lot here to protect a little bit of Murray because this game could get ugly quick. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of Connor and Edmonds. Little dump offs for Edmonds, maybe some runs. But more Connor than usual, I think. Hopkins is hurt. He's a game time decision, last I saw. So keep an eye on that for sure. I'll probably be retweeting somebody tomorrow. But keep an eye on Hopkins. If Hopkins doesn't play, you have the terrific and wonderful AJ Green. She's going to try to jump down. Yep. Okay. Rondell Moore could have a big game. Max Williams could have another big game if Hopkins is out. AJ Green does give them another big body in the red zone, but again, don't forget about him. No Hopkins. I think Kirk and Moore are more inclined to have bigger games. AJ Green lost his step, becomes more of that Larry Fitzgerald type receiver where he's going to be like, oh, it's 3rd and 5. I'm going to run a 6-yard curl, 6-yard in, 6-yard something.
and get the first down. So I think early on you'll see a lot of more in Kirk. Sprinkled in with Edmonds. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a little bit more patterns out of Edmonds in as a receiver and have Connor in the backfield. You could probably change up a lot of different things, but I think Murray's got about 5 total touchdowns. You're starting Murray. You're starting Kirk. No. Okay. Sorry. If you need receivers, if Hopkins is not playing, you can get away with, depending on other receiver situations and hurt and not, if you have, Hopkins and you have more for that reason, like Moore as a flex or Kirk as a flex. What are you on here? I'm sorry. But I do like Moore. I like him a lot. I forgot what I was gonna do. I do like Moore a lot. I don't like Moore because I have Kirk, but I do. So no Hopkins. You are starting Edmonds, full point PPR, Kirk, and Moore. I think Kirk and Moore both have top 36, top 30 plays in them. Because I think they each get a touchdown for sure. I don't think they each get a touchdown. Murray's going to it's just going to get ugly quick. And then I think they're just going to ride Connor and Edmonds for sure. Jets, Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater, Williams, Gordon, and Cortland Sutton. Jets, not a soul. Deeper leagues, your 16-team leagues, 14-team leagues, 18-team leagues, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter. That's really it, though. You start Bridgewater on a 2-quarterback league, super flex. But again, I think it's going to be a lot of Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon because I think it's going to be an ugly game quick. So I think you're going to see the backs get a lot of split time, and they're going to probably ride the hot hand. Melvin Gordon really has only had that one touchdown against the Giants, and he hasn't done anything. So look for a little bit more Javonte Williams, sprinkled in there. But Bridgewater, Gordon, Williams, I think you're going to be safe with those. And I think you have to start Sutton as the only other option at receiver, especially coming off of last week's performance, like over 120 yards. Nobody from the Jets, unless you're in deeper leagues. Flex play for a big game possibly would be Moore because I think it's going to get ugly quick. They're going to have to throw the ball. So by default, garbage time something. I don't know about Corey Davis is hurt, so I want to see how this goes. But yeah, that's really it. 14, 16-team leagues, 18-team leagues. You're going to start your Moores, your Michael Carters, but you're going to start Bridgewater this week. If you're streaming quarterbacks, you're going to start Javonte Williams, Gordon, and Sutton. You're starting one Dolphin, and his name is Myles Gaskins for the Dolphins-Raiders game. That is it. If you drafted Jalen Waddle and you do not have anybody else, and it's like you drafted, good receiver, Waddle, Michael Thomas, and like you're between like running backs and receivers for a flex spot, or it's a 3-receiver league, then yeah. But if it's, you don't have to start Waddle, don't start him. Because I just don't want to see what happened to you guys happen to me with Robbie Anderson, where you're taking him on this glimmer of hope that he has this big play like he did like Robbie Anderson had against the Jets, 1 catch for 7 yards, a touchdown. Waddle has that ability, which is why I'm saying if you're going to take anybody, Jacoby Brissett has a big arm where he can also throw it deep. But I think you're going to see a lot of Gaskins, a lot of dump off, a lot of running plays. But Waddle is the receiver that I want to play if you have to play somebody. Raiders. Waller, no running backs. Jacobs is hurt. Jacobs scares me because he's really only getting touchdowns. He's not, he's always constantly hurt. So it's just Carr and Waller. Ruggs, again, like the Waddle thing, gets behind the defense. But the Dolphins' defense is really good. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, they lost 35-0 to Buffalo. Did you see the game? Did you see Tua get hurt? Did you see the short fields Buffalo had? So, yeah, the defense on the field the whole time, and it's short fields. What are you supposed to do? highly underrated. They have two very good cornerbacks. So Waller. Waller, and if Ruggs can get behind him, Carr, obviously Derek Carr has the arm strength to hit it to him. That's all I really like. Super deep leagues, I put Hunter Renfrow in as one of my waiver wire targets because I believe he's going to be running a lot of underneath patterns, slot guy, going to get you some receptions. So full point PPR, deeper leagues, look at Hunter Renfrow. If you're looking for the most bang for your buck, the most high risk, high reward, go with Waddle. But if you're streaming quarterbacks, Carr is definitely he's leading the league in passing yards. And week one, I think Waller like between 17 and 19 targets. So it's something to keep an eye out on for sure. Bucks Rams. Okay. You're starting Tom Brady. You're starting Matthew Stafford. You are not starting any running back for the Rams. Henderson is healthy, maybe, but I still don't trust it because he could just get hurt, could get hit, feel funny, not feel good. And then it'd be like, Coach, I'm not playing that front four. You're going to take me out of the game. Sony Michel can play. Again, deeper leagues, especially if Henderson's not playing, you need somebody. You're starting Cooper Kupp. You're starting Robert Woods. I feel like I'm saying this all the time because tight ends just haven't been a consistent gameplay. But Kyle Pitts had a good game, and the Cowboys tight ends did well. There was success. They found success. So if we need, a tight end play, Higbee's a good look. So Kupp, Stafford, Woods, Higbee if you're desperate. Buccaneers, you're starting Brady. Unless, no, you're starting Brady. I would start Herbert over Brady if you have both, depending. I don't think you would unless it's 2-quarterback league or super flex. But the only person that scares me, I think Godwin has a good game here, but the Rams have been playing Ramsey in some weird hybrid, we just made up a position, you're playing it. This star position, like he just kind of just does what he wants. It's weird. I haven't seen a cornerback this, like this since Revis, where it's just kind of like wherever Revis is, don't throw it to him. That kind of guy, man. He shut down Evans before. He shuts down receivers. Devontae Adams last year may or may not have, Evans is the one guy that scares me though. I think Gronk can have another game just because of Antonio Brown with the COVID list, but Brown could maybe. No, it's in LA. Brown would have had to have flown there today or flying in tonight. I haven't heard anything, but Brown's on the COVID list, which is why Evans scares me. So I expect bigger games from Godwin, and you could say Godwin and Evans because you're probably going to have to split duty with Ramsey. So if Godwin starts going off, they might try to migrate Ramsey over there. Evans goes off, they migrate him over there. The other guy's going to... There's one football, and Brady knows what to do, and Scotty Miller is a decent play, but you're not playing him. Sorry, Scotty. And the running backs just scare me. I mean, if you have Fournette or Rojo, maybe, but this is going to be a shootout. They're going to just sling the ball around, man. We're going to see if Brady's arm can hold up to this. They might try to do a little ball control, but I don't think you're going to see touchdowns from the running backs this game. It might be like a little 5-yard pass here, then a little 3-yard run, then maybe another 3-yard run. Nothing crazy. I don't see it happening. If you have to start a back, Fournette, but I'm not happy about it. There's other options out there. Trey Sermon, maybe. Elijah Mitchell if he plays. There's other better options out there, better consistent options. But yeah, this is going to be start Stafford, start Brady. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think Robert Woods has a bigger game because I think Kupp gets slowed down. They figure out a way to slow Kupp down. I think Woods has a bigger game here. Seahawks, Vikings. Wilson, Metcalf, Lockett, Carson. Those are the guys for Seattle. Disley and Everett, you're not playing them. Vikings, obviously, Cook, Thielen, Jefferson, Cousins in a 2 quarterback league. I like Cousins over Wentz, Cousins over Winston, mm, Cousins if you're desperate. I would even probably go Cousins over Aaron Rodgers. Just saying, bad offensive line always plays bad against San Francisco. Not always, but San Francisco always gives them trouble. Just think about it. Think about it. But that's, whoop. DK has his game. I think DK has a little bit of his breakout game in this game. I think they're going to be highlighting Lockett a little bit more. They have been playing Metcalf as the focal point, and Russell Wilson is very good, and so is Pete Carroll at figuring out what they're going to do and exploiting their weakness. But I think this is Metcalf's game. Oh my goodness gracious! But the usual people, Cook. Oh, wait a second. I take that back. Pay attention to Cook. He might not play. Game time decision. Questionable. And Seahawks have a good defense usually. Hit hard. Just saying. If you have Alexander Madison, I like him in this game. Shoot him up. Just saying. If Cook doesn't play, I feel comfortable starting Madison. If you have him, I think he'll find success. They're going to want to probably take control of the clock against Seattle because they have the ability to score so quickly. And if you fall behind, you can fall behind quick. So if Cook plays, start Cook. He's a tough guy. If not, you could definitely, Madison is, running back, 2 potential, low 2, high flex. For sure. Yeah, give me what kind of questions you got, King? What's going on? What's up? Start sits. Yeah. What's going on? Shoot. I have Daniel Jones and Dak, and then I have Mike Evans or Sterling Shepard. Oh. Okay. Ooh, man. Who's your yeah. Oh man. See, it's Dak. All right. So it's Dak's first home game. Okay, so it's Dak's first home game since his injury. So he's gonna come out, feeling good. It's just gonna be getting that game too. I don't know if you were here for the Rams one I did a little while ago. I have so if you're listening to this later on Apple Podcasts or watching on YouTube, I have King Utah. King asking questions in regards to matchups for what he should do, start sits for Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott or Mike Evans and Sterling Shepard. So I'm answering that question. Evans, I have Evans and I'm starting him in one of my leagues over Shepard. I would, because I think this Barkley game is going to be it's a good Barkley game. And Kenny Galladay is also going to be having some options, I think, because of the blowout from last week. Shepard's still going to get his. Jones really liked him, but they have Slayton who missed a touchdown. I would feel probably more comfortable with Evans. And you have Barkley, okay? I have Barkley as well. I feel more comfortable with Evans because even though there's no Brown, Jalen Ramsey, I don't know where he's not just covering the star player anymore. He plays all over the place. So if he's covering Godwin, Brady could look for Evans on that play. I think Evans is going to outperform Shepard this week. And I think Barkley does really well as well. So I would go Evans. The Dak Jones one scares me because so I'm a Giants fan and I want to say Jones, because the matchup, it's just a matchup. But at the same point, if he's been out for my one league, he had 31 points last week. Thanks for the follow, King. I appreciate it. But so, oh God. I'm going to say you can go with either quarterback. I think they both finish very close with each other. So I don't think you're losing much. I think they're each going to put up like the 30 points, and I think you're okay because I think the Eagles-Cowboys game is going to be a shootout as well. What scares me with the Giants is their defense is not as bad as advertised. I think they're going to come together, and if they start to come together and they play well, and the Giants get out to an early lead, they might lean on Saquon and Booker a little bit more, which could hurt Jones. I think the Cowboys-Eagles game is a shootout, but I still think they both finish close. So I would go. I would start Evans. I like Evans over Shepard just because. Mike Evans, 8 straight years with 1,000 yards. Not taking anything away from Shepard in PPR. He's going to get you a lot of points if you're playing a full point PPR. But I just like Evans, his red zone ability. The Giants had shown a lack of scoring touchdowns, and Shepard's touchdown was a result of him. And his will to get in during the week 1 against Denver. So, you've Gronk too? Dude, is this a 10-team league? Who's your other receiver? Who's your other tight end as well? Because Gronk scares me because he's just touchdown dependent, I feel like. 12-team league. I feel like Gronk is touchdown dependent. But real quick, King, while you're typing, I'm just gonna try to touch base on this. My full team. Okay. I like Goddard more than Gronk, I think. Zach Ertz is COVID. Zach Ertz is not playing on Monday night. I think Goddard can have a very big game. Gronk had a big game against the Cowboys, so oh my God, I wish I had that team. Jesus. Yeah, no. Gronk has 4 touchdowns in 2 games, but I don't think that's sustainable. I don't think he's going to be able to sustain that kind of production. But he has that rapport with Brady, so it could just be an old, just look at me and I'm going to go into the end zone and run the same route. Oh, jeez. God, but there's no Brown. It's the no Antonio Brown thing. If Antonio Brown was playing, I would say start Goddard over Gronk. But it's the no Antonio Brown thing. It scares me. Because there's just one football to go around, and Brady loves Gronk. They could break Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning's record for touchdown combination receptions, quarterback to tight end / receiver. Like, that combo's nuts, dude. Please tell me you could be 1-1. Are you 1-1? 0-2? The 1-1 I figured because I know the first week was rough. Oh. Yeah, that's what I did in my one league. I went up against the 2 top performers back-to-back weeks in my one league. I'm in 6 different leagues. 6 different leagues. I managed 7. My wife, I managed my wife's team, and she's 2-0 in one league, and I'm 0-2 in that league. But yeah, that's how I am in my dynasty league. I went up against top scorer last week and the second highest score the week before that. Dak and Jones, you're even, whatever you feel more comfortable with. I think they're fair trades. If you like that extra, I'm also somebody that I like having those guys on Monday night. So like I have that opportunity if I'm losing going into Monday. I like that. Like the Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers thing last week. How that game went and they just went off. I like being able to know that you still have that opportunity to do well. Look, man, I think Dak does well. I think catch scared the crap out of me. You could start either Dak or Jones. I don't think there's any drop off there. They're going to be right here. Najee, I think Najee's the only good thing going on right now in Seattle. I don't think Deontay Johnson's playing. So you're starting Cup. You're starting Chase. See now, maybe you go. I don't know how your scoring works, but Cup, Evans, Shepard probably wouldn't be the worst thing. Shepard over Chase. But I know if Higgins isn't playing, it's just going to help Chase's numbers out, and I get that. I get that. But Shepard and Evans, I don't think Evans is going to be able to. Shepard's going to be able to sustain it. He has 209 yards in 2 games. I don't think he's going to necessarily be able to sustain that for sure. What is it? 16 catches, 207 yards. He's getting 84% of the targets. Like, I just don't think that's. I don't know, man. And he only has 1 touchdown. Like, Evans had the 2 last week. I would go Evans over Shepard. I would go Evans over Shepard. And then the quarterback is whatever you feel most comfortable with, because I think you can't go wrong with either one of them. I think they're both going to do well. I would go Dak because of the Monday night thing. And he's shown he can play. He did have a bad game last week. So if you want to look at it from a standpoint of who's been most consistent, Jones has been the most consistent, and it probably has, the best matchup. But Brandon Graham is out for the Eagles. I think the Giants throw up like 35 points, man. It's fucking Jones and Evans. That's what I'm going with. Jones and Evans. But I won't fault you if you go Dak. If you go against the grain, you go Dak. You want that Monday night comfort, go with Dak. Real quick, Packers 49ers. Debo. Give me all the Debo in the world. I want Debo. If Mitchell plays, go Mitchell. Sermon's been falling out of the graces, apparently, from what I've been hearing. So if Mitchell plays, go Mitchell. But if Sermon is cleared and Mitchell can't play, then I think Sermon ends up taking the job at that point in time, because I think they'll want to probably grind the clock out. They're going to use all the running backs. I feel like you're playing me, but I don't. I feel like you're playing me, but I'm not playing the guy that has the Panthers D. I started Robbie, but we don't have to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Okay. We're not going to talk about that. Yes, you have a nice little thing right now. I would go, like I said, I personally, if I had your team, I can see your dilemma, but I personally would go Jones and Evans over Shepard, just because I don't know if Shepard can sustain it. It is a contract year for him. But I think they're going to want to get other people involved this week. You're going to see Galladay have a little bit of a bigger game, I think, because of what happened. And I think Saquon's going to be utilized a lot, catching the ball, running the ball. But Jones is going to get those rushing yards, so don't forget about that. Dak's not going to run too much, especially with the ankle. He's definitely going to be throwing more, even with the shoulder. It's like, being a hypocrite, but so I'm favored this week, so I can take the boom or bust. So if you want to go with the stack and with the points, then yeah, you can go Jones and Shepard. I still think Shepard gets his. He probably gets 6 or 7 catches for like 70 yards. I just don't know if he gets a touchdown. I think Evans, I think Evans just probably outperforms Shepard. Just because I think that's going to be a high scoring game. So like that's a crapshoot. For sure. But San Fran, Deebo Samuel. I will, if I see what's going on with the running backs for San Francisco. I like Sermon if he plays. He's the only one I trust if Mitchell doesn't play. And then Kittle, obviously Kittle. He could always get his. Jimmy G likes him. There might be this game. Apparently, Jimmy G, Trey Lance thing. So don't start any quarterbacks for San Francisco. And then if you have better quarterbacks, if you have Daniel Jones, if you have Dak Prescott, I would not hesitate in starting them over Aaron Rodgers. Does not play well against San Francisco. And the offensive line is still in shambles. So, Aaron Jones kind of, they got down the field and Aaron Jones had a game last week. But yeah, I would even start Jalen Hurts over Aaron Rodgers for the next game. I have Jalen Hurts, one of my leagues. My 2 quarterbacks, King, I have a dynasty league. I have Jalen Hurts and Daniel Jones. I've gotten very lucky, but it's dynasty, so I went long term. High on Jones this year. If you start Zeke, if you need running back, start Pollard and PPR. Devontae Smith. So you start Devontae Smith. He isn't probably going to be covered by Diggs, but I think Devontae Smith is still going to get his. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think game's going to be a big shootout for sure. It's a Monday night game, divisional game, play each other well, 2 good quarterbacks, explosive players. Cowboys defense is getting better. But yeah, you're starting, I like Miles Sanders. You're starting, I start Sanders as a flex or running back 2. Zeke is an RB1, especially with all the talk and stuff. I think they're going to try to get Zeke to let everybody know it's still Zeke's backfield. But if you need somebody in deeper leagues, 14, 16 teams, Pollard's going to have another 10-point game. He could steal a touchdown from Zeke too if he just happens to break one. But Zeke is still Zeke. He's not the first round pick you maybe invested in. But it's not Tony Pollard yet. I think you have one more week. If Zeke can come out and he's probably going to be running with, a chip on his shoulder to let everybody know that it's still his backfield. He's gonna run hard. They're gonna run to the right side. They're gonna run on Martin. But if the game gets out of hand and it's a high scoring game, again, it could be Pollard. You never know. But I like either back. Pollard is a flex for sure. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper is supposed to be playing Monday night. So you're going to start Cooper. You're going to start CeeDee Lamb. I'm not starting any tight ends for them, for Dallas. Eagles tight end, I'm starting. I would, if you have, depending on your tight end situation, like you've Gronk and Goddard, you could start either one of those. I like Goddard. I think Goddard's going to have a good game, especially with no Ertz, with no Zach Ertz. I know Jalen Hurts likes Goddard as well. And if Quadre Diggs is going to be on Devontae Smith, I think that's just going to kind of help Goddard a little bit more. But I'm starting Miles Sanders as a flex if need be, running back 2. His receiving ability, his best games have come against the Cowboys. Little dump offs, especially if Michael Parsons is going to be playing more end again, outside linebacker, getting pressure on Hurts. Expect those dump offs. But yeah, guys, that's a little bit of the preview. I didn't get a chance to have good conversation, unfortunately. My co-host had to take care of a couple things, and then I was going to get another co-host, but they had to get up early tomorrow. I have to get up early as well. I have to play 2 softball games. But yeah, that's fuck. Shit. Sorry. Cat got my hand. Pretty good. The only thing about Gronk is that I didn't start him yet this year because I had Waller. And you had Waller? Wait. Oh, so did you trade? So do you traded Waller?
I don't blame you for sitting Gronk though, because I don't think a lot of people started Gronk. You didn't start in week 1, and then you're like, oh, okay, you got 2 touchdowns. He's probably not going to do it again, and then he does it again. So I get that. I understand. That's not bad because you had Gronk and Barkley. So okay, did you just make that after you went 0-2? I like Goddard though. Oh, CH. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. For sure. I definitely get that. I definitely get that for sure. For sure, for sure. Um if I make this, give me a sec. Okay. You can still see that. Okay. Um yeah, I can't blame you there. You probably would have been able to maybe trade Gronk for somebody like a Miles Gaskins or somebody, but I can't blame you for trying to get somebody who was going in like the late round 1, depending on the depth, to early round 2, mid round 2. At all. At all. He's really the only option really there. He's supposed to be doing well. He got some targets last week for Pittsburgh. He had a decent game for sure. The touchdown, I think, saved him. But you're playing a long game. You're trying to win, so you want to make sure that you're good. I think if Barkley goes off, your situation's a little bit better. But I think Goddard for sure is still a good tight end. And I don't blame you for starting Gronk by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah. Yeah, go. I mean, Gronk or Goddard, I probably would still start Gronk based on what's going on. The only thing I don't necessarily like, and I'm not like, so like, I know it all depends on how the draft falls out. You draft people and things like that. But like Evans and Gronk, I know they pass a lot. Their running backs aren't the greatest, but they pull from each other. So if Evans scores a touchdown, that's just one touchdown that can be scored. So it's like if those yards are going to go to Evans, right? Good play. And then if Gronk gets a touchdown, it pulls from Evans. So what I always try to do is, yeah, obviously it happens, especially with the pass happy league that the NFL is today. Having two receivers from the same team is okay. Exactly. That's what it is. Brady's going to probably set the touchdown record. Now, there was one time years ago, Maurice Jones-Drew was a running back for Jacksonville, and Fred Taylor was still there. So when I first got into fantasy, like 2006, I was probably before that. I probably got into fantasy in like the the 2000. I think I was in elementary school, 5th grade, 2001, 6th grade. I was understanding football. And I had Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew. This only happens every once in a while. If ever it happened, they were both running backs for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they both rushed for 1,000 yards. And they were both on my team, and I started them on a weekly basis. I don't know how it worked. It did. But yeah, so you understand it though. Like so that's why I would go with Goddard, because I don't want to if Goddard catches the pass and you have Gronk in and he does, and the yards went to Evan, you know what I mean? But like you said, they're pass heavy. They have running backs to have them because you need them. They're not going to be running the ball much. They're going to run the ball to keep teams honest, for sure. So I like Jones, Gronk, and Shep. I don't hate it. And honestly, in one of my leagues, I'm contemplating benching Evans because it's not that one. It's this one. I'm going to tell you. I'm 1-1. I have Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Davis. It's going to be dependent on who plays, if it's Sermon or Mitchell. I also have Mooney and Claypool too. But I should probably actually start Herbert over Stafford this week. Like I'm contemplating benching Evans for Mitchell or Sermon, because I just think that like they could do better, because Jalen Ramsey has shut down Evans, and he shut him down in the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, I think Evans had one catch. Not Super Bowl. The playoff game? It was a playoff game. It definitely was the Super Bowl. I was stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. It's 11:30. Delirious. If something falls, it's just my cat's king. Don't worry. I thought about benching Evans for the simple fact of Ramsey. And even when he played against Diggs against Dallas, he did not have the greatest of games. So that's why going Shep, I don't have an issue with that. Just for the simple fact, but again, with Barkley and Shepard, they could still pull from each other. But I just think that the Giants put up enough points this weekend, or the Bucks put up enough points this weekend, where it's not going to really hurt. But the only thing that scares me, which I don't like, is Evans and Ramsey, because Ramsey shut him down. Whenever Evans goes against the top corner, he doesn't perform well. Now, he's also had Jameis Winston throwing it to him except for last year. So, but in the NFC Championship game, Evans had one catch for, I think, 31 yards against Ramsey. But that was when Ramsey was following him around. He's not doing that now. So it's very wishy-washy right now. But there's only one football go around, so we'll see what happens. But Shep and Jones, I don't mind it. I think you're good there. I think you win this week, especially with the guy starting Robbie Anderson. You have a little bit of room for that matchup. But I definitely think Barkley ends up popping off for like 20 points. I think he rushed for 150 yards and a touchdown, 2 touchdowns. One of them is from from Jones out of the backfield. So real quick, another segment that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be having a couple people come on towards the end of it if I can. And my one co-host is picks and betting. So these are the spreads as per Barstool Sportsbook as of September 24th, 2021. My picks, I have the Giants giving 2.5. I picked the Bills giving 7.5. I picked the Bears taking 7. The Ravens giving 8. The Titans giving 5.5. Chargers 6.5. Saints 2.5. Bengals I have winning outright, so I took the +3 from them. The Cardinals giving 7.5. Broncos, I have the Broncos. It's supposed to be a minus sign. For some reason, I had the Broncos +10.5. I still think the Broncos win by 2 touchdowns. I can't type. I'm like going crazy right now. This is the Raiders. I just never trust on your backfield. So the Raiders, I have the Rams +1. I think the Rams beat them. I really, really do. I have the Seahawks winning. The Seahawks giving 1.5 points. I think they just 1.5 points. I think they win by a field goal. If anything, again, I think the Vikings lose another heartbreaker. Packers, I have +3.5. So I have the Packers. I just think that I think it's a close game, and I think whoever wins, it's by a field goal. So it's why with the half point, I'm taking that. And I have the Eagles winning outright. So I have the Eagles +4. My buddy Zub, I'm just going to run this down real quick. He has the Giants giving 2.5, Washington taking 7.5, Bears taking 7, Lions taking 8, Titans taking 5.5, Chargers taking 6.5, Saints taking 6.5, Steelers giving 3, Cardinals giving 7.5, Jets taking 10.5, the Dolphins taking 4, the Rams taking 1. We matched there. The Vikings taking 1.5, the Packers taking 3.5, and he's taking Dallas -4. His best bets are the Giants and the Cowboys. He has the Giants giving the 4, The Cowboys giving a 4 and the Giants giving it 2.5. Um, I have the Giants as my best bet, and the Cardinals giving 7.5 is my best bets. And my buddy Zub also did 6 point teaser with with New Orleans at 8.5 and the Vikings at 7.5. So 6 point swings. He took those points. So we'll see what happens. King, I don't know when you came in, but this is going to be the end of the episode. How it's going to work is I usually probably going to try to do at least 2 episodes a week, a recap episode, probably Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. Worst case scenario being Wednesday. So I'll give you a little bit of roundabout. I will post on social media. It's on Anchor and Apple. It's on Anchor, Apple, and Spotify. Sports Euphoria. Just a heads up, I'm also a big gaming guy. Huge gaming nerd, huge gamer geek. So I started late with the sports. I had a couple different things going on. I was in between, a career change and things like that. So I had to take care of some stuff. But I want to say every Tuesday or Wednesday and every Friday or Saturday, preferably Friday or early Saturday, I want to have a preview episode. So a recap episode earlier in the week, preview episode end of the week, and during the recap episode, I'll do a waiver wire thing episode as well. But I'm a big gamer nerd, and I've always been a big gamer nerd. I started off on console, so Sports Euphoria, play on words, can be esports. So the first couple episodes you're going to see are from the June and July time, where I break down a lot of the League of Legends and Valorant, talk about a little bit of CSGO. I do a whole CDL breakdown for the Call of Duty League after stage 4 major. So that's what the older stuff is. And the podcast did change names. It was LTJ, which stood for Lone Tar Jaguar, which was my first ever gamer tag. So it was just the acronym of Lone Tar Jaguar. One of the ones that they gave you on Xbox when you first signed up. But then I segued over to sports because I really dove into fantasy this year after taking a little bit of a break last year. So I'm going to do a little bit of everything, where I'm going to do a lot of the gaming podcasts and a lot of the sports podcasts. What I'd love to do is have, some of my friends, if they want to do a betting show, hop on the platform, do a betting episode. Now, I'm going to live stream a lot of my stuff because I have the setup. They might not. They might just be recording, do a voice recording, throw the episode out. But on social media, on Twitter, sports_euphoria, Instagram, sports_euphoria, I always post or say whenever I have an episode drop, or usually try to go live. Also have a Facebook page, Sports Euphoria as well. But yeah, so that's kind of, it's going to be a little bit of gaming, but I'm trying to do more football content, retweeting. I'll do some hot takes, my opinions on Twitter, things like that. But yeah, so I'm going to try to get a lot of different people coming in. A lot of my friends, we have passion for stuff. A lot of my friends do a lot of gambling, so that's why I want to do a betting thing. And then a lot of my friends do a lot of fantasy football as well. Like I said, I'm in 6 leagues, all money leagues. I manage 7, being my wife's team. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I appreciate you coming by. I just have a passion for it, and it's just my opinion on things. And I hope that my opinion is able to help you win some leagues. By all means, if I'll be thinking about you for when you come back. If I know the Giants are doing well or whatever the case may be, I'll be sure to keep you in mind, and hopefully, you get this win. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload as well to YouTube, Sports Euphoria. So this will always be live as well. What I try to do, King, is I want to be able to show everybody what I'm doing, what I'm seeing. If I have an outline, if this is going to be more detailed as time goes on, but the bets, things like that. So this way, there's a record being kept of what we're doing. But like I said, it's, because a lot of times you just hear what people are doing, and I know sometimes videos help people. This is, going to be a little bit of a longer episode. I think it's probably about an hour and a half, hour and 30 minutes, something like that, or 40 minutes. But But yeah, I want to be able to answer questions as well and let people know kind of like what's going on and interact live with you guys. Um, I'm working on a Discord server to try to get our takes and put things in there. I want to, trying to do a bunch of different things that maybe not everybody does. Where we can like you can watch football games. I want want people to come in and we can watch Red Zone, watch games, bring your buddies in, talk about things, break things down, things like that. Um, all on Discord. So like I said, we'll see what's going on. I want to try a couple different things. I appreciate you coming by. Appreciate your questions, and hopefully help out and win some leagues, win some other stuff. And if you like to gamble from time to time, see what our bets are. We're gonna keep track. We're gonna see what happens. Um, I did put money down on the Giants and Cardinals being my best bets this week, so we'll see what happens. Um, but like I said, guys, I appreciate it. Give it a little bit. This episode, I'm going to try to pump it out tonight real quick and everything like that. But sports_euphoria on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. The Facebook page is just Sports Euphoria. And I will be posting a Discord link at some point on somewhere. And YouTube is also Sports Euphoria. Just trying to do the link. Gambling is still underage. Okay, yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. We don't want that. So never mind. Yeah, just don't gamble, kids. It's bad. I'm 31. I can do a little bit of that. But yeah, King, I appreciate it for sure. I want to try to, like I said, make it more personable. Like you're really kind of getting to know us and build not just a podcast, but like a community and live episodes, things like that. But with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. Good luck in your games this weekend. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.